And shooting a clean shot from afar. My Grizzly L.A.R.
What am I doing with Grizzly Armament? And what's the goal of Grizzly Armament? Even maybe a little bit of history of myself. So, before Grizzly Armament, obviously I worked for my father, who is Karl Augat at L.A.R Manufacturing. And I did that for a number of years, which actually is a funny story because I was in high tech and mass production for a lot of years. I was the COO for a nutraceutical company. I think I was complaining one time to my father when he called me up and said, "Yeah, Karl, aren't you going to come work for me?" Because he's German. He has a German accent. So and then he hung up the phone. So I call him back. I said, "Dad, yeah, Karl, aren't you going to come work for me?" Click. When? August? Okay. And that's exactly what happened. I left my COO position and started a job in August with my father, which was the most amazing opportunity I could have ever had in my life, was that chance to work with my father. And it was wonderful because not only did I get to work with my father, but my son got to work with his grandfather and get to work with me. And we got to do something great and big at L.A.R Manufacturing. My dad was a immigrant from Germany. He was a CNC tool and die journeyman machinist. And he was a genius at what he did. Incredibly humble about it. He just didn't know it. He just made things the way they were supposed to be made. And the hard part was, back in those days, you're talking about 60s and 70s, you had to mass produce them. And we didn't have the CNC machines that we do today, these big horizontals, these big 5-axis machines. So my father was a genius at literally building these machines to mass produce. We got contracted to build Colt and government 1911 slides to the tune of tens of thousands. We got contracted to build M3 tripods to the tune of thousands. And so because of that notoriety, then what started to happen was there was these larger companies, you've heard of them, Bushmaster, who decided to offer commercially the AR business. But this is where it started, and this is where it went, right? So when you start looking at the AR business, Bushmaster contracted with us to make what? A1 upper receivers and Bushmaster lowers. And we've been making those for them, we made them for over 20 years to the tune of probably millions. It was insane because Bushmaster was the first. Then we started making them for DPMS. Then we started making them for Noveski. Then we started making them for everybody because we became the largest producer and manufacturer of AR components in the world. Nobody could touch us. To the tune up to 2012, we were making 440,000 receivers, uppers and lowers, a year. That's how much we were making. Nobody could touch us. Well, that was interesting, right? Going into the market, because we did A1s, we did A2s, we still manufactured all these up to the day we sold to Remington. That was the cool part. And then, oh, wait a minute. We did have our own designs, side chargers. Problem was that I wanted to release other projects and couldn't do it because we had so much AR-15 business that we just couldn't keep up. I mean, we were making parts for over 80 different suppliers, 80 different marking variances. That's a lot. Nobody else did more than we did. Nobody did. Well, that was interesting because we became coveted in terms of volume. So as we made all these receivers, as we grew and became an expert at it, and remember, that was probably over 20 years where we constantly refined the process of making perfect receivers. Everybody knew our quality was nothing less than perfect. That's what we had. That's what we offered, and we charged appropriately for that. 2012, we were approached. Well, more honestly, I think I approached Remington because Remington was asking for more volume from us. I mean, that's the truth of things. I had half of my volume going to everybody else in the industry, to POF, to Noveski, to CMMG, to Double Star, and then I had the other half going to Remington. But the market was so insane crazy that Remington literally flew in to try to strong arm me into giving them all my production. And I told them it wasn't feasible. And they're like, why? Because if I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, that's why. I had all these other people that I was taking care of. And I made them, there was another 25 different manufacturers I was making for. But then Remington said, okay. I said, well, there is one opportunity, you can buy us. And I said to my dad, you know what? I think time is now. I said, Dad, you worked from 13 to 73, Dad. It's time to retire. You worked hard your whole life. And he built the most amazing products. He was a CNC tool and die machinist first and foremost. And he was a creator and a designer and a genius at it. And I wanted my dad to be absolutely taken care of because that's my legacy, but that's his legacy. And it's important to me. But, you know, for living the American dream, yeah, he did. He absolutely lived the American dream. And that I love. So we made everything you see here and then some. And we made it into the tune of hundreds of thousands every year. So Remington saw the opportunity and they purchased us. And that's how we were able to move into a different segment of opportunity for L.A.R. manufacturing. So now Remington owned the market in terms of manufacturing more receivers for them than anyone else. Good business move, you know, can't complain. But I was able to retire my father, but I was able to finally start thinking about my pet projects, which is like what? The Grizzly Win Mag pistols and the big bore rifles. That's what I wanted to bring back. And so it's exactly what I did. Just timing had to be today. Timing had to have the right team. I got a crack team of gunsmiths and absolute experts that brought me back here today. But now you have L.A.R.'s history. You understand why they did as well as they did, because my dad was an expert in mass production and machining, right? We had an incredible market, beautiful run. We had great opportunity. We took advantage of those opportunities, you know. That's what you do, you know. And we built, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. And that's what kept us going. And now it's Grizzly Armament's turn. Now we're going to provide you something so custom and so beautiful. And you know what? Yes, we have the Grizzly Win Mag pistols. Well, we're not going to stop there. We're going to get you your long-range 50 BMGs and 416 Barretts. We might come up with a different AR-15 platform, completely custom. You don't know that, but we are. We're going to provide that for you too. That's our future. That's our product plan. I'm putting together the most amazing team to provide the most amazing, high-performance, aesthetically pleasing product you could possibly imagine in this format. Where you can shoot the 50 AE, the 44 Mag, the 357 Magnum in the most amazing calibers that are actually custom grips, engraved, custom coatings. I said, I want you to have these heirloom pieces. And my whole team wants you to have these heirloom pieces. In fact, they're the brainchild behind most of this because their weapons knowledge is unsurpassed. So this is what I want to do with Grizzly Armament, but it doesn't stop with just the Grizzly pistols, right? It also takes off from our long-range guns, the 50 BMGs and the 416 Barretts. Who knows, we might actually introduce a 330 Lapua. You don't know. I do. We might actually offer something in an AR-15 platform. No, AR-10 platform. Let's go a little higher. Anyway, Grizzly Armament is going to be about custom opportunities, custom heirloom pieces, legacy pieces, origin pieces, history pieces that you can actually own for the next 200 years, I hope. I really hope. I hope you guys bring all this into your family. You know, I mean, that's who I am. That's what I'm offering as legacy. And I want nothing more than that. And I'm honoring my father with that legacy. He's the one that always believed in high quality work. And he always said, if you're not going to do it right, don't do it at all. So we're going to do it right.
And shooting a clean shot from afar. My Grizzly L.A.R. Ain't no target left to score, 'cause I nail it with my Grizzly big boy.